What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fred's Take on Real Estate. Fred Johnson here, broker with eXp Realty in North Carolina. And my question is, are you familiar with the phrase TMI? Let's elongate it a little bit. Too much information. If you've ever had this encounter with a broker, you as a buyer who has no representation, and you walk up to them, be it at an open house, or this is your first conversation after being referred to them, maybe from a friend. And immediately you get into your spiel of what you're trying to accomplish, how much you can afford, what you're looking for, and before you know it, when speaking to that broker, you either hear silence or you see that their eyes have grown to the size of saucers. Well, that probably means you've overshared, and it puts them in quite the predicament, and what they should have done was stop you before you get to that point. But I want to make sure you are aware of what is considered too much information when you don't have representation at the moment. So what is TMI? Well, understand that, number one, if you have no representation at the moment, you never want to talk about any personal or financial information that could really be a big stumbling block for you being able to acquire a property. For example, don't get into how much you make. Don't get into how much your partner makes. Do not get into how much money you have saved. Don't even get into your price range until you know just who, in fact, that broker is and who they may be representing. For example, if you're talking to a broker at the open house, 9 times out of 10, that brokerage is representing the listing, if not that broker in particular being the specific listing agent to the property, meaning they already have an obligation to the seller, to the other party involved, and you could already be giving up bargaining chips and information that could really put you at a detriment when it comes to the negotiating table. So first and foremost, knowing what to say is going to be vital. First and foremost, if you're looking at a property, if say this is an open house situation, ask questions about the property, of course. But when it comes to your own personal information, make sure that you know your rights. Make sure you know the broker that you're speaking to's relationship to the selling or listing property. And also make sure that you feel comfortable enough disclosing your information. You never have to. It's always good to be able to fact find without making sure that you're giving up anything that could hurt you or cripple you at the table. So remember, the first piece of information that you want to obtain in your interaction with a broker is the Working with Real Estate Agents brochure. Look over it, have them go through it, be thorough about it, ask any questions that you need to, and then initial it at the end. And remember, it's not a contract. This is something that brokers are obligated to share with you per the North Carolina Real Estate Commission. And again, it's for your information, for you to know your rights. It's always important to know that first and foremost. Now, as we swing things over to the seller side, it's now time to have a serious conversation about what your motivation to sell is and what you're trying to accomplish when selling your property. Because a lot of times you want to get top dollar, but now it's requiring a little bit of effort. While we still have a lack of inventory, meaning that there's still going to be multiple offer scenarios, it is important to know that now just putting your home on the market alone isn't going to yield you top dollar if no effort has been put into the home and getting it market ready. For example, have you done any landscaping? Have you gotten a professional home clean? Have you maybe even put up a fresh coat of paint? Because they tell you that paint is gold in a can, right? So you want to at least show some effort on your part. While it may not be practical to ask for a house to be turnkey, you certainly want to give the appearance that you've put some TLC into the home. Lastly, I just want to give a pro tip. It's the crazy summer months right now. Families are trying to cram in moves before school starts up again later this summer. You can't even say the fall anymore. But brokers, you got to make sure you have your ducks in your row, meaning you want to go through the Working with Real Estate Agents brochure. You want to get that information out there as soon as possible when speaking to potential buyers. You certainly want to make sure that you have all resources and information at the ready for potential sellers. But ultimately, you want to make sure that your buyers are qualified and your sellers have an understanding of what appropriate and effective timeline is for them to be able to execute their move. And now, more than ever, for potential buyer agents, pay attention to the commission because they are dropping for buyer's agents. You're seeing a lot of new build constructions that are offering flat fees, and you're even starting to see more homes on the resale market offering 2% or lower. So it's important, of course, to have that conversation with your potential buyer clients to make them aware of potential properties that could be falling short of what you charge in a commission. It's better to have the conversation beforehand, before you go out to the property, versus after the buyers have already fallen in love with it and they're ready to put in an offer. I hope this information was helpful. Over the next couple weeks, I'm going to be able to speak to you about a few companies that are offering assistance on the buyer side as well as the listing side to help facilitate these moves and continue to keep our market stimulated because it's going to remain hot. And so while you guys have an opportunity to, please put your feedback down in the comment section. Feel free to like, rate, and subscribe, and contact me with any questions that you might have. I'm not hard to get a hold of. FredNCRealtor@gmail.com is the email, and the number 919-527-3156. Again, I'm Fred Johnson, broker with eXp Realty, license number 314343 here in North Carolina, helping you make your next chapter your best chapter. Take care.